Hi, Mr. Porter.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hold on a
Hi.
minute. Let me change my audio around so that I can actually hear you guys. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
rocking
Nice
the dark
shirt as
side.
well. Yeah, nice.
There you are. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my God. So much better. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hello, Mr.
How are you?
I'm good. I look all pink. Hold on a minute here.
Don't worry.
I'm so glad that you speak English because my Italian is
But you
Well-
speak a little bit of Italian.
no. I know enough to get myself into a fight. And yeah, I mean, I wish I did actually. My favorite author of all authors is Umberto Eco.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd love to read the original,
Yeah.
but I'm relying on translators. So yeah.
Which one is your favorite?
It's funny. My absolute favorite is Foucault's Pendulum, but right now
Oh.
I'm currently rereading Baudolino.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I like his nonfiction as well. I mean, his writings on semiotics, his writings on, I mean, all of it. I love him. Where are
Yeah,
you guys,
it was
by the way?
such an amazing. Oh,
In Italy.
we're in the northern side where me and Davide are in near Turin,
Okay.
and Francesco is near Milan.
Okay. Up to Switzerland. So I went through the northern part. I loved Venice, but I want to go back to Italy and see more of the country, because Venice is a little like, I think, America's New Orleans, where it's like, that's not really America. It's like its own weird kind of thing.
Yeah. Venice
Yeah.
is Venice. It's
Venice is
unlike
Venice,
anything else.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Well done, the Italian Olympic 400-meter team. Gold medals.
Thank
Thank you very
Yay.
much. It's a nice year for Italy. It appears so like.
Well, yeah, you guys have done very well in sports this year, actually.
Yeah.
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 It's
It's a good year.
Yeah. I mean, if you follow sports, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Well, Ray,
Yes.
we first of all we might have some issues with Zoom.
Okay.
We had some issues earlier. If the calls ends abruptly, we'll send you another link. We're sorry, but yeah, Zoom is like.
Was it
hating us
something I
today.
said? Yeah. Sure.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And then we wanted to thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you for having
Thank
me. It's very
Yeah.
nice
Thank
to
you.
very nice to be a part of
What
it.
time
Yeah.
is it where you are right now?
It's 1:00 in the afternoon in Los
Oh,
Angeles.
yeah.
So
Nice.
10 at night where you guys are, right?
Yeah, 10 p.m.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah. Don't worry, absolutely.
A pleasure.
You guys ready for bed now? You ready to go to sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in my my pajamas, my dark side pajamas.
That's more than I needed to know, Chief.
Well,
That's funny.
we wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Massimiliano.
Massimiliano,
I'm-
very nice to meet you.
Massimiliano, yeah, I'm an art student. I want to be an art teacher, and I like to draw. Perhaps you might remember me, Francesco, if I may ask you. I'm one of those weird people that sometimes do some drawings on Twitter, and I wanted to show you something. Let me just see how I can. I don't know how
I have to
Can
say, by and
show it.
large, I love all the art that I see on Twitter. I'm amazed by art. I've always wanted to be able to draw, and I just simply cannot. So I'm always very in awe of that. There.
Oh,
Okay.
here we
okay.
are.
Do you see?
Did you do all of these?
Yeah, I did all of these. I wanted to show you the. Let me see if I can. Yeah, let's do this. Can you see my full screen?
I can.
Yeah. So these are the I'm sorry, my PC is also hating me today, but it's
They can be like that.
let me just
Ciao, Ray. I love that dark side having a nice
but see, it was like League of Mayhem stream, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I remember this.
I was that guy that was saying, "No, don't run away, please. I want to show you this."
I love it. That is so cool. It's like,
Yeah,
I want that to be a coffee label. I want that to be like a brand of coffee, and that's the label for it. You know? This one, oh my God!
I did this one as well, and where you hold Henry Cavill's,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
body, and
And
this
then
one.
if I had gotten the green, these are great, man.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to show you because you're amazing. Your dark side was amazing, and
thank you.
Your art inspired us in so many ways. So thank you so much. And now
I can't thank you enough. I mean, it's such a privilege to be able to see art of a character that I played. That it was inspiring enough to people to like take the time. And your work is terrific. So,
thank you so much.
Those are going to be some if you want to be an art teacher, those are going to be some very lucky students. So nice work, man.
So
really
much.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful work. Yeah, I love it. I love that one. The caring.
I leave it to
gorgeous.
Well, later I might show you another as well. I just found it, but Francesco and Davide, your thing. And
Prego, Davide.
Hi, Ray. I am Davide.
Hey, Davide.
I'm contact you on Twitter. I broke.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your patience with all of the logistics of working all of this out too. I appreciate it.
No problem. It's a pleasure for me. Prego.
Okay, and I am Francesco. I am a student of editing. I want to be an editor, and
cool.
Thank you so
Very
much
nice to meet you, Francesco.
Thank you so much, really.
Prego.
Well, yeah.
That's what I know. I know grazie, I know prego. And then the rest of the stuff I know, it's not nice.
Don't worry.
You can go a long way in Italy with the grazie and prego. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I know other things that I won't share.
We can add our rating R to the stream if you want to. But
yeah, there might be people who would object to some of the Italian, I know. So just leave it at that. I became an aficionado of epithets and curse words in other languages. And so whenever I would meet someone who spoke another language, because, in America, we aren't taught as school children other languages as well as other countries. And it's always been somewhat embarrassing for me to be in another country and not know the language at all and say, do you speak English? And everybody, oh yeah, I speak English. And it's really shameful. I'm grateful for it, but it definitely makes me ashamed, because it's like, we should know, we should have that more available to us, So
yeah.
Anyway,
it's
so I started collecting.
Even in Italy is.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was saying even in Italy we're only starting. We've been starting in the last 20 years, I think, to teach English as much. So.
Okay. Yeah. When speaking English?
This year.
This year?
Yeah. So it's terrible, my English. I know.
Oh, your English is fantastic. It's way better than my Italian, I'll tell you that. Well done, man. This year you started. Good God. Wow. That's impressive.
Well, Ray, first of all, let me just address this thing here. I don't know if you can see it, but
why shouldn't Dark Side?
This is the other thing that I did.
That's funny. What is the box I'm
there,
holding?
and then
Zack Snyder's. That is funny.
I'll send you the picture.
Do please. That is hysterical.
Well, thank you. Ray, we have so many questions for you. Thank you for your time.
Happy to be here.
I personally have, I don't know where to start.
Wherever you like.
Well, since a bit of Italian, you said, I've had this idea for the last, few years since you've been found out as dark side.
Yes.
I imagined you and your, with your voice, with your performance as Virgilio.
Wow.
From the Divina Commedia.
Yeah.
Do you know the Dante's opera?
I do.
Would you like to,
I do know it. I don't know it by heart. I do know it, and I certainly wouldn't be able to say it in Italian. But I mean, if you sent me a printed, a line of text, I could try to pronounce it really badly and say it. But
if my friends want to, I would love to. But yeah, because you have such a passion, such a power in your voice, and the role of Virgil is such a complex and deep role. I think that in my mind, I have this idea of you and Ray Fisher playing Virgil and Dante.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
I think that both of you would be amazing. But what's your relationship with literature, even non-English literature? Like Italian literature.
I'm a great lover of literature. I always have been. My background theatrically has been in classical theater, primarily Shakespeare, although, a few other authors as well, English speaking, obviously. But of course I'm aware of, Dante, and I collect antiquarian books. And so I have English translations of Purgatorio and the Inferno from the early 1800s, actually in the other room.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I said, I love Umberto Eco. I love Italo Calvino. Do you know Italo Calvino?
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely.
Love him.
Incredible.
There are writers from all over the world. There are authors from all over the world that I think are marvelous. And I'm grateful that there are people who are able to do such good and sympathetic translations of the work so that you get what the author was trying to say, even if you don't speak in their original language. But it's where these archetypes come from. I mean, Dante and Virgil, you can see that represented in other works of literature. You can see those relationships, just like Romeo and Juliet, just like the great classic interplays between characters. People will base off of that and go from there. To me, what's great is finding all of the common truths within all of these different cultures and all of this wildly divergent history to contribute to it. But, I mean, as far as Italy, art, music, I mean, Puccini, come on. The literature, the science, automotive design, because I'm a bit of a petrol head as well. So, what I love about this sort of interconnected world is that you can have conversations like this where, there's so much more availability for things from other cultures, from other histories, from other things. Yeah. And I'm a big believer in, especially for Americans, because we live in such a large country. There's a lot of people who've never left this country. There's a lot of people who've never, so you'll have people in California saying, this was built in 1840. It's really old. No, it's not. And I just kind of wish that everybody could get out there and experience something outside of their own comfort zone and to have an understanding and appreciation, because it makes us ultimately more human.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a great lover of literature and a great lover of the classics, and it's important stuff. I say to everybody, and I'm constantly pestering my son, I'm like, you want to be smarter, you want to just read everything you can get your hands on, learn, as much and as diverse a palette as you can possibly create for yourself. Read. It's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, also,
Yeah,
I mean, like
absolutely.
look at art. You look at some of these, great historical works of art, and you say, and while I'm not particularly well versed in various artists, I know enough to be able to say, well, I don't really care for that. Why? And to be able to articulate why you like something, why you don't like something is really important.
Yeah.
Have an
Yeah.
appreciation and a respect for those things. So
Cool.
Absolutely, what you're saying is absolutely spot on, and it translates as well for modern arts. I think that something, having a background in classical arts, even just a basic knowledge of classical arts gives you such an advantage in understanding contemporary arts like movies, songs.
well, the more that you understand it too, the more you understand music or art or whatever, when you see a new artist, sometimes you can actually see who their influences were as evidenced in their work, which is fascinating to me. It's a little bit of archaeology, like, wow, that guy really likes Modigliani, or this person really likes, and so that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool.
But as Dark Side, I didn't really take a lot of influences from anybody. I mean, literally, I was reading the script for Zach because he likes to hear it rather than just sitting and reading it, because it's a different experience when you hear it. And one day he just said, "Hey, what do you think this guy would sound like?" And I was like, and I went really low with my voice and was, handed it back to him. Okay, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. And then 2 weeks later, I'm Dark Side. So, that was cool.
For real. That was
Yeah.
really, really cool.
It was cool. And then I wasn't in the movie, and then I was, but I couldn't say anything. It's been a journey.
Yes.
God bless these overlayers, these small, layers over your Twitter picture with
Yeah.
with the-
Yes. Yes.
That was
I've got-
clever. That was really, really good.
I have a lot of Dark Side t-shirts now, and I forget, and I'll wear them because I like them and they're really cool and everything, but I'll go into a place or something and it just seems like, God, if somebody asks me and I'm wearing a shirt of myself, that's kind of weird. So I try to not, but this is clean.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, right. My Dark Side shirt is in the laundry bag.
Is that a Walking Dead shirt you've got on though?
Is in the laundry bag.
The shirt you're wearing right now. What is that one?
It's a shirt. The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. Brilliant.
I become father. So
Oh man, how old? How old's your child?
yeah, is a girl.
Girl,
And,
sorry. Yeah.
The girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Your daughter,
yeah, my daughter have 9 months.
9 months. Is that your first?
Yes, my first baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's an adventure.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a great adventure.
Do you notice how I started talking more quietly because I don't want to wake the baby? Being a father myself, I appreciate that downtime. Yeah.
The first month are very hard. No sleep.
No. You become amazed that we all kind of come from the same place, and you're like, how did my parents do it? How does anybody do it? No sleep, just trying to learn. It changes your life.
But it's true. It's
Yeah.
changed. But now she is very good. She's very good. Now she sleep all the night.
Mm-hmm. She's 9 months.
Yes.
Okay.
9 months.
That's going to change. It changes. I mean, it just does. You know, everybody, there's so many people until you have a child, you know, because you'll hear another parent go, "Oh, she's such a good baby. She sleeps all the way through the night." I'm like, let me know in a month how that's going. You know, you see them a month later and they're like, you know, it fluctuates, it changes, you know, but how exciting, how fun.
No, this is real. Yeah, because in this month, for 1 month, she sleep.
Yeah.
Another month, she don't sleep. It's a roller coaster.
Yep. And and the eating, the same thing, all of it. It's all the same. Yep. Eventually it evens out when they're about 20. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, now, my question for you,
Yes, sir.
Ray, is when did you become an actor?
When or why?
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 Why? I
Um,
am a screenwriter.
Okay, I'm third generation in the business. My mother was an actor, singer, dancer. My grandfather was with the circus for a number of decades. He wasn't a clown and he wasn't biting the heads off chickens. He was a publicity advance man. But I kind of grew up around show business, around show people and around, you know, that kind of stuff. And it was always just sort of there. That was kind of the family business, really. So I wanted to do something else. You know, I wanted to be a journalist, or you know, there was a couple of other things I wanted to do. And then I went and saw a production of a play by George Bernard Shaw. And there was something about that production. And I came out of there and went, yeah, this is what I want to do. So I came to California and I studied acting at the California Institute of the Arts. And shortly after graduation, I was hired on at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival in Ashland, Oregon. Went up there and it's beautiful. It's in the mountains, you know, it's clean air, except, you know, right now, no, because forest fires. But back then it was, you know, it was idyllic. And you're doing Shakespeare all day, 6 days a week. It was amazing. And I wasn't going to stay there very long. And I worked there for almost 20 years. And would come to LA in the off season and do TV and film and things like that. And then came to LA in about 2008. And, you know, it's just kind of been the thing. It's been my career since college, I'm grateful to say. I don't know necessarily why, but I think I knew why after my career was underway, when you could explore all the facets of the human heart and the human mind and the human spirit in so many different wildly divergent ways of expression, that it's endlessly fascinating to me. And then getting to do things like, you know, like Dark Side and that aspect of it, which is very, very new and very different for me, is wonderful. You know, meeting people, getting to chat with guys in Italy. It's great. How terrific is that? You know, so I'm very grateful for it. It's been hard, really hard at times, but I'm glad I stuck with it. You know, you got to find the thing that makes you look up at the clock and go, oh my God, it's been that long. So, you know, you want to find that thing that makes you lose time, that you're so invested in what you're doing that you're not thinking about, you know, oh God, when is lunch? When am I getting off? When I'm, you know, and so I'm very grateful that I've gotten to do this as a job.
Yeah, I can understand, because I studied to become a screenwriter, and 12 years ago, and
yeah,
now I try to have my opportunity. But maybe someday.
You just have to keep at it, you know. And the thing is, I mean, the thing about being a writer too is you're a writer, you know, that's it. Nobody can call you. Nobody bestows that title upon you. You write, therefore you are a writer. I mean, it's like acting. The difference, you know, is it's much nicer to be a paid actor. That's good to make a bit of, you know, to make a bit of a living off of it. But I think that, you know, writing is something that is so incredible. Something I wish I could do. And it's something you can do for all your life, you know, which is marvelous. And as you grow older, as you have a child, as you do all these other things, that palette gets richer and richer and richer. So, you know, good on you.
Thank you.
Good for you. All right, your turn, Francesco. Come on, man. Forza.
No. You know Italian.
Vespa, lasagna. No, I'm going to stop.
Right, do this.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I got to do this.
Yeah,
Maron.
Wow.
Me.
Perfetto.
Yeah.
Perfetto. Total
Perfect.
Italian.
Yeah, exactly. Lean out a car window. Stronzo. Okay, so
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And to talk about your audiobook career, you are
Yes.
a narrator. You
I have-
acting
Yes. Yes.
In a-
Yes.
in a lot
Yeah.
of audiobook. And I want to ask you, when you do an audiobook, how is important acting?
I think it's very important. I think the training that you have as an actor, I mean, it is essentially acting.
Yeah.
The training that you have as far as, you know, pace and rhythm and, you know, what's going on. The difference is with an audiobook, when you're talking about a scene between 2, 3, 5, 7 people, it all happens in here, right in this room.
Yeah.
And it's just me, which is it's weird. It's lonely at times. I do miss acting with other people. But it's been very good to be able to do that. It certainly allowed me to sustain myself during lockdown because I was able to work in here. I'm at home, you know, so that was good. And it's a learning experience. You're constantly, you know, learning. I will say it's very, very fatiguing. It's very tiring to narrate in ways you don't expect, but you get to the end of the day and your jaw muscles are tired, your tongue is tired, your voice is tired, but your brain is tired too, because you're just constantly thinking on all these different levels as you're narrating. It's interesting work. It's exciting work. I'm grateful to have the job, but it's deceptively hard. I know so many people, even actors, will come to me and say, well, I like reading and I have a nice voice. I'd like to read audiobooks. It's like, you go right ahead, because you know it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
But people who manage to sustain a career doing it are real. You know, there's a sort of an athletic proponent to it, although it's all athletic here. You know, it's been very satisfying to be able to do that, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to thank you because some people don't choose to read or to listen an audiobook. Some people, for me, I listen audiobook because I'm not able to read so easily.
Yeah.
I listen.
It's great for that. It's terrific for that. It's been, I get wonderful letters and I'm very, very proud of them when I hear from someone who drives a truck interstate and they're like, you helped me get through these long days, you know, because I actually had someone from Eastern Europe who said, I bought a hard copy of the book in English, and then I bought the audiobook of you narrating it, and I'm teaching myself English by listening to the book and reading along as best I can in the book. And it's, you know, and I've heard from a couple of other people that it helped them learn or improve English by listening to the audiobooks while they read. So that's unusual. Audiobooks started only because of books for the blind, that not everything was translated into Braille. And so they started to, especially like the New York Times or periodicals, they would have someone read them from the Library of Congress. That's how audiobooks started. And it's become this huge industry now, which is fascinating. but it's very interesting to hear the ways that the way it's used, the way audiobooks are used,
Yeah.
you know? And yeah, there's some people who have issues with reading for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And they're able to get the book by listening to the audio, which I think is great. I'm very proud of that, you know? Yeah, it's a fun gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's all in here,
much.
you know? It's all in here. I mean, like I said to my son one day, I'm like, don't ever invite me to career day at your school. You know, my dad's a firefighter. My dad's a police officer. My dad's an emergency room doctor. My dad sits in a blanket fort all day talking in weird voices to himself. Not something to be proud of.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Perhaps your child could have also talked about when you wear that gray pajama with the, you know, with the Guinness and Sardines playing Steppenwolf and the Sun at that time as well. Perhaps when the NDA was not, you know.
Yeah. No, he can he can talk about that for sure. For sure. Well, sorry, I just got a text message. Yes, go ahead.
Don't worry. I wanted to ask you something related to this, because you had a beautiful career on doing audiobooks. You were on many TV shows. You were in theater, in movies now, and in Argo. And so I wanted to ask you, have you ever considered, or were you ever, you know, asked to join a video game project?
I have done video games. I've done video games. I've done voice work on video games. I was in BioShock 2, played Mark Meltzer. I was in Medal of Honor 2 or 3 or 4, one of them. And I've got a video game job coming up here in about a week, actually, that I can't talk about right now. But yes, I've done video game.
Oh,
for sure.
Okay, well, in a week. Okay, but
in a week, you know, well, I'll find out when I can talk about it. It'll probably be sometime later, but yeah, I'm very excited actually to be doing that. So yeah, I've done that. I've done some animation stuff as well, you know, voice acting and yeah, it's all just a very funny sort of journey. You know, I mean, I was on there's a TV show called Sons of Anarchy, and I was on that, and somebody said, you know, how was it? And I mean, it was lovely. The people there are fantastic and they're brilliant and talented, you know, but boil it down. I said, I got to spend the day shooting guns and hanging around Harley Davidsons and they paid me.
Oh, yeah.
How cool is that? You know, so it's very fun, you know, or the times when like people will say, you know, like, you know, oh, I got this scar falling off my bike, or oh man, yeah, I hurt myself. I was cutting oranges and I put a scar on my hand. What's that scar? That's from a broadsword that hit me in the head in 1982. It's just cool.
Wait, when did it really happen?
Yeah, I've got various scars all over me from swords and all weapons. I mean, theater hurts.
In theater, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it. It must have hurt, but it's the beauty of theater. I love watching plays. I loved now with COVID and stuff. It's really hard to live the experience. Even it's nice to watch them in video form, but it's another thing to
not the same
to be there.
It's to all be in a room together, mutually agreeing to believe in this thing for the next 2 to 3 hours, and everybody plays a role. There's the actor on stage, there's the author whose play is being told, and there's the audience, and it's a communal effort. And it breaks my heart, you know, what's happened obviously with COVID. It's, you know, it would be insane to gather in large groups in theaters, you know, but it's the sad part is that the theaters are all dark right now, and it's very sad, you know. But I don't recommend COVID. I had it, and you don't want it, you know. So we got to do what we got to do.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, but it's hard. I mean, and I have a lot of friends who work in production, lighting, effects, that kind of thing. And there's been nothing because everything's been shut down. So it's very, very hard. I hope that we can at some point all gather in rooms together and believe together again.
Yeah, it's something that I think Zack Snyder's Justice League, among many other projects, helped with in the industry, because so many digital artists got work from that movie, and not only them, but all the production, all the stuff that surrounded it and surrounded all these movies that were shooting and were being post-produced when COVID happened. It's incredible. It's sad that a part of a production, world completely stopped, but at least some bits survived and kept on thriving.
What the phenomena with this movie is so great, because what it did with the fans, and the fans are the reason why this got shown in the first place. Fans are the reason why I get to sit here wearing a Darkseid shirt. And so I'm eternally grateful to the people who believed in this movie getting released. But it gave us all kind of something to do while we were in lockdown,
Yeah.
You could go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever and talk with like-minded people or argue about things and, and get it done. And so when the movie finally came out, the sense of achievement, it wasn't an individual sense of, hey, look, my role finally got seen. I mean, it was, we all did this together. I mean, my favorite thing to do when the previews were happening was to go immediately to YouTube and watch people's reactions to the trailers to see how excited people were about it. The joy of that was wonderful. So that was a bright spot, honestly, of lockdown, was the journey to getting this thing released, and watching people singing from their balconies in Italy. That was the best.
Well, yeah, we're Italians. We had to do something a little bit, with flair.
A bit, yeah. I mean, exactly. You got to do exactly. Do it right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But for real, even the announcement, the Zack Snyder's Justice League announcement, I think that Francesco and Davide can say this as well. It hit Italy and so many other places when COVID was striking really hard.
Yeah.
The announcement was one of the biggest, most energetic, joyous events of 2020. Like, for real, I remember in Italy, so many people that don't care about movies, not tweeting, making Facebook posts about, this movie is going to come out, yay. And they barely know who Superman is.
It's something everybody could share, and also it felt a little like we were getting out of the house and out mixing with people, virtually, digitally, yes, but it was something that was communal in a way, and that was really, really good.
Yeah.
And Ray, how was the experience with Zach on the set to the Justice League?
It was wonderful. Zach is such a great director to work for as an actor. You feel taken care of. You feel respected. He's excited, so you're excited. It's funny if you do something and it doesn't quite work, you sort of both know. At the same time, there's a very sort of communal thing. Everybody on a Zack Snyder set is excited and happy to be there and interested in what's going on, and that comes from the top. He's a terrific leader. Aside from being a visionary director and a great storyteller, he's a great leader. He's a really good, you want him running the show, and he's a good guy. I can't say enough about him. I'd work for him under any circumstances. I've been fortunate in that respect. I've gotten to work with some pretty terrific directors in films that I've done. I mean, Ben Affleck, great director. I only had a small part in Argo, but I got to work with him, and he's a terrific director. Cameron Crowe from Almost Famous. I mean, these are people that I'd walk through fire for, because you believe not only in their artistic vision, but who they are as people. And the kindness that Zach and Debbie it just is a part of the atmosphere around them. This general, wonderful kindness, this supportive energy. I'd work with them under any circumstances. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So nice to hear.
Yeah.
Yes. And let's talk about another audiobook. And
okay.
Maybe.
Hey, Sandman.
Yeah.
Sandman, which apparently it's working in other countries. You can listen to it free right now. So if you say, Alexa, read Sandman, it will, because they're getting ready. They're gearing up for the next part, which I'm in. So yeah, that production was incredible. I mean, obviously there's the names, there's well-known names in the cast, but there are a lot of names you don't know in that cast that are some of the best actors I've ever encountered. It's so, and then Dirk Maggs as a producer he's a friend. So I'm going to not get too flowery in my praise for him because he'll make me regret it. But no, he's a genius. He's a genius. And to be in the room with him and Neil Gaiman, who I've loved for years as an author, and then to be, with Michael Sheen and to be with these other actors, Karen Bartke and, these, a lot of names you don't know that are brilliant actors. It was so great. Did that in London. Part 1 was done in London. Part 2, sadly, was done here at home. But because of COVID. But it was so much fun. We're at the Audible Studios in London, all gathered in a room together. It was very hot and sweaty, but all gathered in a room together around microphones doing this great production. It was, I loved it. Loved it.
Yeah, it's the best audiobook I ever listened.
It's an incredible production. I mean, you put your headphones on and you're there. You're in the middle of the scene. It's the layering of the sounds and it's something else.
Perfect.
It's something else. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it.
Well,
thank you to you.
Yeah.
All right. If I may ask something about, the small role that came out this year about, Dark Side.
Mm-hmm.
If I may, I absolutely loved your performance. Your Dark Side was incredible. It was such a powerful and unique villain, even with not the most amount of lines. It's already an instant iconic. Every line was, well, you delivered it and it was perfect. So, but
that's wonderful. Thank you.
It was incredible. I'd like to ask you. We all know. Well, we know the old plans Zach had for Justice League 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Dark Side conquering Earth and then the battle between heroes and Apocalypse. But if you were to plan a road for Dark Side after Zack Snyder's Justice League, no Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 plans laid down, where would you like to see your Dark Side go? What would you like to see?
Well, Dark Side is such a vast, huge story. I mean, any comic book fan knows and knew this. I learned it late. I played the role and then thought I maybe ought to learn about this character. Vast, huge, different directions of story, and he's this and now he's this, and it's really almost chaotic, and how many different worlds. I mean, I'd love to see, obviously I'd love to be in any further things with Dark Side. The exploration of the new gods. I mean, I never heard, whether or not I was even being considered with Ava's production of it.
Yeah.
But even then, even if I wasn't a part of it, Ava is such a great director that it would have been really fascinating to see that story, being told. I mean, obviously anything Dark Side's in, it's like, hi, sign me up, please. Hello, I'm available. There's so many different stories that could be told within the DC universe with that character. I mean, short answer, I'd like to do them all. I'm fine with that.
Well, I asked you this because my surname is Orione.
Mm-hmm.
And in the comics, Darkseid's son is Orion.
Orion, that's right.
Yeah, it's something that I don't know if Zach had planned something about that, but I'd love to see your Darkseid with Orion in some kind of way in the future. I'd love that.
Yeah. That would be very, very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of different stories that could be told. It's just a matter of if a filmmaker wants to do it and if a production company wants to let them. But hey, I'm available. So
we wait.
Yes, we will wait.
We wait.
Exactly.
Ray, is there a director you would like to work with?
Several. James Gunn. There's several directors out now. There's several directors that have been established for a very long time. There's several new directors that I would love to work with. Would I like to do a Scorsese film? Hell yes. But there's so many different amazing voices right now. Wes Anderson. All these incredible visionaries. I'd love to have a go.
Yeah.
Bertolucci is sadly gone, so I don't get to work with him. But there's a lot of directors I'd love to work with. Absolutely, none I can think of that I wouldn't like to work with, really. So.
Thank you.
Managed to find something good in everything. So,
do you like Sergio Leone?
I do very much. Talk about carving out. It's so funny, Sergio Leone. Taking a genre, the Western, and yet carving out this whole other subgenre within the Western. Filmed in Spain, and the sets are huge and extra wide, and this. It's a definitive version. There's nothing else like it. You could say, "Oh, I like Westerns," but then there's Sergio Leone. It's like, I'd like to do a remake of Prison Cola. That. Do you guys know that old Italian? What is it? Prison Cola and I choose on. Do you know that?
Prison Cola and Choosel.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. Adriano Celentano.
Cracked me up when I first saw it because Americans for years have been doing made up, this is what German sounds like, or this is what Italian sounds like. It was great to see an Italian taking the piss. This is what English sounds like. And it's a banging track. The groove behind it is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I saw an interview that Will Smith did with an Italian broadcast, and they asked him about English or American phrases. What does this mean? And he's like, "Oh, that means this and this. What does this mean? Oh, that means what's going on? How are you? That kind of thing. What is this?" And he goes, "What is this?" And it was Prison Cola. And like, I don't know what that is. The Italians were like, yeah. No, there's a lot of directors I'd love to work with. Absolutely.
And to talk about directors, what was work with Ben Affleck in Mr. Ben Affleck in Argo, and your role, your acting?
My role was really small. I tend to play a lot of people from the 70s. Go figure. I don't know why. But Ben is my God, that movie was fantastic. And Ben is great. Ben's an actor, so he understands the process of what it is to be an actor, and he knows how to get what he wants from an actor in it. So while our work together on Argo was not, vast and huge, the time that I spent with him as a director, I enjoyed a great deal. You wanted to do well for him. He clearly knows what he's doing. And you wanted to be your best.
Yeah. Yeah, great
Yeah.
movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Well, right. First of all, you just gave me an idea for another fan art.
70s Dark Side. Sweet.
It's here. It's coming. Yeah.
with the lapels you could hang glide from,
Yeah.
right? The collar and the whole leisure suit.
Absolutely.
Chains.
Like Tony Manero.
Yeah, exactly. Say hello to my little friend. Yes, exactly. I love that 70s disco Dark Side. Hysterical.
Well, 70s Dark Side aside, that's coming. I wanted to ask you another role. I really a few. I think how long was it when we talked with Zach? It was January.
Mm.
Yeah, where we spoke with Zach about we did an interview
February.
with him, and we spoke about different sorts of things. And he told us that he wanted to do an Arthurian reimagining.
Yeah, well,
An Arthurian movie, and I think that now with his new Netflix deal, I think that we might be getting closer to something like that. Actually,
I never realized he was an Excalibur geek, and I've been an Excalibur geek since the movie first came out. I saw it in the theater and was like, and that shaped my whole life. I mean, you want to talk about 20 years of Shakespeare? It all comes from that movie, and yeah.
We actually spoke with Mr. Boorman.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. We're like, let
Dude,
me see. Oh,
that film shaped so much of my life. You know,
it's such a classic. It's perfect.
It's an absolute classic. And I mean, I can still quote. I've seen that movie so many times. You know, and I've like wanted to try to find a point in time where I could conveniently say to Zach, you know, like, you know, I'm really good with a sword. Just but oh God, I mean, if he were to do that, I would beg to be a part of that.
Because I think that there would be a role that. What do you think about Merlin?
I would love to play Merlin. Are you kidding me? Please. Please. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be able to do as good a job as the original actor did, but you know,
it's different iterations, and I am sure you would be fantastic in the
role. I would love to play Merlin. Are you kidding? Hell yes.
And since it's a reimagining, I don't know. Zach has such a visionary mind. I don't know how. I think he said something about setting it in the Gold Rush era.
Oh, in the West.
The U.S. In the West, yeah. So I
never heard that.
Yeah, I think it was.
So that'd be like now Thrach, Uthvas Bethud, Dochel the Envy. There you go, buddy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks. I think so.
So you know, this will be on Twitter, and people will tag Zach too as an official, you know, casting.
As an Old West Merlin. I love it. Would it be the Lady of the Dry Lake Bed? No, I don't know. I mean, what would it be? You know, how would he get his sword?
Yeah.
But a 6-gun, I guess. Excalibur would be a 6-gun, wouldn't it?
From a well.
Why not?
From a well. There you go. There it is.
It's the shirt. It's confusing me.
It's getting the wisdom.
Yes.
That's fascinating. I never heard that about it, doing an Old West take on it. I think that's fascinating. Yeah. God, you guys saw Army of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
so good.
I still don't know how he managed to shoot it in with such a shallow depth of field for the whole movie without having a moment that was like, you know, jarring or, you know, not so perfect. Everything was spot on, and with Tig Notaro added.
Yes.
Like I showed the movie to my parents, to my fiance, to my friends, and I was like, guess who was added in the after the movie was shot? And some were talking about a character, some another. Nobody spoke about Tig Notaro.
No.
Nobody noticed it.
He understands cameras pretty well, that Zack Snyder. He definitely does.
Yeah.
Visually, I thought it was incredible. Plus all the little Easter eggs, the UFOs and the
Yeah.
Oh God!
The Snyder Cut.
Spoiler alert! Retroactive spoiler alert! Sorry.
Don't worry.
We'd be like, oh, damn.
But it's literally in the first 10 seconds of the movie, I think.
It is
15 seconds.
I'm sure somebody's angry that I've ruined it for them.
They're in the chat now, typing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I thought visually it was fantastic. I mean, and I would love to see what he would do in any setting, telling the story, that Arthurian legend. It could be anything. I mean, the Old West, it could be anything. I think in his hands, it would be terrific. So.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
With you starring as Merlin. So
thank you. Yes, please. We're just gonna,
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, I had to.
I'm there. Thank you. You should be my agent. You just stick that in there. Yes, I'd love to play Merlin. That would be so much fun. Yeah. Taliesin.
We have to ask Zach to say,
bring it up. Bring him on the broadcast and just start in on him.
Okay.
Do a lot of this.
After I write
You might actually start another war now, because Zach a few months back started the pineapple pizza debate. So
okay, I gotta say this. I know that I got into a bit of trouble on Twitter saying that I don't particularly prefer pineapple on pizza. It's not my thing. I respect that it's somebody else's thing. That's great. I will say this. The other day, I saw a picture of a pizza with kiwi slices on it, and I believe the war is over. Pineapple, anti-pineapple, we share a common enemy. People who put kiwi on a pizza.
To quote Army of the Dead, that's crossing the line. That's crossing the line.
I mean, what the hell are you doing? Like spaghetti with ketchup. Oh.
Yeah. Very delicious.
It's like those Twitter recipes that sometimes you see with people, putting all sorts of stuff on pasta cooked for 20 minutes. It's painful.
It's like some of my English friends watching tea being made, by other people.
Yeah.
Which is that great scene in Justice League with Alfred and
and
Diana. Yeah. No, I'm sure it must be very painful to be an Italian and watch people like, today we're going to explore Italian cooking. And then they like break out all the wrong stuff and do everything wrong.
Yeah.
Al dente. That means to the dentist. And yeah. Horrific.
When in Italy, a long time ago, there is a program with Patti Balastro.
Okay.
He showed Italian plate. When I watched his the food, Italian food,
yeah.
Every
what is that?
Yeah. Oh, I've
spaghetti alla bolognese.
Oh.
Where? What?
Puttanesca. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Venice. I don't know what I was expecting, but when I arrived in Venice, I guess I was expecting what I know as Italian food to be. No. No, Venetian food, very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
And I guess
a microcosm.
I guess that's very true in Italy anyway. I mean, you've got, Napoli recipes or Calabrese,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Right. That there's a different way of doing things. But
exactly.
Yeah, but like 15 kilometers one city from another, they will have the same food with completely different recipes.
Well,
they will go to war.
That goes back to the time when it was, cities warring against each other, right? The Milanese against Lodi, or the Lodi, I mean, it's like y'all could throw a rock and hit each other's houses. Why are you at war? But they were way back when. That's the thing, is that people don't, again, in America, because, it's vast and large, and, some of these larger countries, things have gotten really, really standardized. I noticed living in England for a couple of years, you drive for an hour and bread is called something different, and the dialects are completely different. It's like I could walk there and you guys talk differently. What? But it's, I love that. I love that. All right. So best Italian food, the thing I got to have. If I come to Italy, what's the thing? What's the one thing that'll make me just, I'm going to get here 3 different things now. Watch. What would be the thing? Well, I come to your town. What would be the thing to have?
That's a tricky question, because I'm not actually, I wasn't born here in this town. I was born in Genova.
Oh, okay.
So it's another word.
Like I know. I make a noise like I know.
It's like seafood.
Yes.
Pasta al pesto.
Right.
With basil. So I think that maybe pasta al pesto.
Which is one of my favorite things ever anyway. That's, I know a guy in Southern Oregon that makes the best pesto I've ever had. Ever. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I love pasta al pesto. Yeah.
I said ravioli.
Ravioli? It's my son's default. My son constantly. Ravioli. Constantly. Stuffed with what, though?
And
beef or what? Cheese? What?
Yeah, I think beef.
Exactly.
Beef.
Yeah.
Beef.
I think salame.
Oh, I love salami. Yeah, I love salami. I love all of that. I mean,
salami.
The cheeses. You get a prosciutto going. You get,
Yeah.
I would be the size of a blimp if I lived in Italy. I just, food is just fantastic.
Here in my town, the must is salami, cheese, and the red wine.
Yes. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
that's
classic.
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah, that's lunch. Done. I love it. Just need a knife and I'm all set. I don't need a knife.
Yeah. Very good.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Okay, Ray, which is your favorite movie?
My absolute favorite movie of all time is a movie called Local Hero. It was made in 1983. The director is Bill Forsyth. Yeah. Just that's it. I mean, I've got a lot of movies that I love. That's a long list, but my number one favorite, like you can only bring this movie with you to the desert island. Local Hero. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I have a question, and I know I already asked about this, but what do you think about the Netflix series about Sandman?
I think it's going to be great because Neil's involved in the production. I think it's going to be marvelous. Wish I was in it, but desperately wish I was in it. But it's going to be fantastic. I mean, look what he did. Look what he did with Good Omens, which was brilliant and wonderful. Brilliant. Yeah, I think it's going to be. And there's been. Have you seen any of the behind the scenes stuff where he's walked around on the set?
Yeah, incredible. Incredible.
I think it's going to be brilliant. I really do.
And it's beautiful that next year you have the comics, the audiobooks, the TV series, a lot of things.
All the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All the media.
Yeah, all the media.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have high hopes for it. I really do. I think it's going to be, I do.
Different experience. It's
a different thing, and yet still within the world, I think, because again, Neil has influence. He's there for that. And, like he was for the audio production, which they were trying to get made for years and years. And so they, and the time was right and they finally got it done. And I'm really glad, very proud to be a part of it. Very glad that they got it made. So I think the series is going to be dope. I just wish I was in it. Yeah. That's like I would watch Game of Thrones and be like, I wish I was in that, except for the last season. But the rest of it, I'm like, I'd love to have been in it.
Except for the last season.
Except for the last, I don't know what the hell happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all kind of felt that way. People who followed that show, a little like,
it was weird.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had to go to a chiropractor after that last season because I spent every episode like a golden retriever going. So
distances were nothing. People were going from one point to the other in the same episode, and
I think it was, I honestly, aside from being a complete smartass, how do you end something like that? That's the big challenge with these vast, sweeping, huge stories. How do you end it?
Yeah.
It's difficult. Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, you watch anybody who's written a long series. I mean, I'm thinking of the Gunslinger series by Stephen King, the Dark Tower series.
Dark Tower, yeah.
How do you end that? Have you ever read all of those books?
Not all.
I recommend them highly. There's I think 6-7 books total, and it's a long series, but it's as far as epic, huge, long stories like that, I mean, it kind of puts me in mind almost of Lord of the Rings, where it's just this vast thing. How do you end it? Tolkien with Lord of the Rings, perfect ending. He ended things perfectly. But that's I think the biggest challenge for any storyteller is the world gets bigger and bigger and bigger and more filled in and more ornate, and there's all this stuff going on. Oh God, we've got to end this. What do we do? And I kind of think that may have been some of the struggle that the people on Game of Thrones in the final season had to deal with. And
even the books.
Which aren't even done yet, really, right? I mean, but how do you end it? And so I can sympathize. I mean, purely as a viewer, I was like, what? But I mean, what do you got to, you got to sew this up in X amount of time. How do you do that? Well, that's a challenge for anybody.
Big challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the rush they had to close it without having the books, the story from Martin. It's
they're flying on their own and they're trying to like get things. I mean, it's it's hard. Yes, it was disappointing as someone who loved that show. That final season was very disappointing, but looking at it now, it's like, how were they going to end that? How could they? And I'm sure there's going to be a million opinions on how they should have done.
Yeah.
But those people weren't there at the time when it was being carved, so.
Exactly.
Yeah. So joking aside, I mean, I'm glad I wasn't in the position of having to end it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
We'll see the next fantasy shows, The Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings show, how will they fare with this problem? Because even them, The Wheel of Time has books. The new Lord of the Rings show is kinda based on the books, kinda narrating a story.
I mean, from seeing comic book movies, you take anything that people have invested in for years and have a sense of ownership of. There's a lot of people sitting back with their arms folded going, this better be good. and if it isn't, they're hurt by it, or they're angered by it, or whatever. High expectations on, I'm going to tell this story. Well, wait a minute. What? You encounter it a little bit doing classical theater, because there will always be somebody in the audience who saw the definitive version of whatever it is you're doing. They bring those expectations, and the best you can do is maybe meet the expectations. Don't even try to exceed them. There'll always be someone who will say, that's not canon. That's not the dark side I want. That's not the Superman I know. They're entitled to that opinion, like everybody is, because it's an opinion about a piece of fiction. But people invest a lot in stories. And so, it's a struggle. I mean, you're trying to, the people making Lord of the Rings, you're trying to make this thing, you've got Peter Jackson in everybody's mind. You have, stuff that came before that. You have the books. And how do you meet or exceed those expectations? The best you can try to do is tell the story as best you can. Yeah. I was asked by a lot of people if I looked at any of the other performances of Darkseid before I did mine. And I didn't. I purposely didn't, because I'm not going to try to play Michael Ironsides. He's the best at what he does. I can't try to do his stuff. I'm going to try to tell the story in this way. Yeah. And hopefully it meets with approval. I was nervous the night before the movie came out. I was really nervous, especially after months of people being so nice on Twitter and elsewhere about welcoming me into this, community and being patient when I couldn't talk about it, being respectful when I could. And I'm eternally grateful to them. But right before the night before the movie came out, I got scared. I'm like, oh God, what if I suck? What if I'm terrible? People are going to feel betrayed, or, worse, that's going to, so I was a little scared. A different set of nerves. It's very different than the theater of like, I'm about to go in front of all these people. What do I do? This was different because this work was done, years ago in some cases, and you have no control over it. So it was a lot of nail biting. I hope people like the movie. I hope people like what I did in it. And fortunately, for the most part anyway, it seems that people did. And so I'm very grateful for that. But best you can do is just try to tell the story the way you tell it, and you hope for the best.
Yes, being true to ourselves. It's even when I see it when I try to draw some stuff. Mm-hmm. It's something that perhaps it's not the best result, the objectively best result, even though there's nothing objective about this. But it's true to yourself, and that's what matters, at least for me.
I agree. It's the only safe haven, really. I mean, have you experienced this when you're in the middle of a piece of art where you're in the middle of it and you go, what if this sucks? Or what if this is bad? If you start working from that standpoint then and go to finish it with that mindset, it's going to be apologetic. And there's no such thing as apologetic art. So the best you can do is continue with what you were doing and hope that somebody likes it, Yeah. That's the challenge.
Absolutely. Well, Ray, I wanted to ask you earlier, you said, jokingly, perhaps not, that if we were to send you a line from the Divine Comedy, you would have tried to read it.
Let me put on grandma's reading glasses here.
I'm sorry, if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Nostra vita. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on a minute. Would you mind can you private message me that on Twitter? Can you send me a quick DM on Twitter?
I'll let
of that line?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but you said that, and it was like a dream to hear you say it
in the Darkseid voice.
As you wish.
All right. Well, first we're going to work on my pronunciation when I do finally get this line. Yeah, send me a DM on Twitter with that line, and I'll be able to read it.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks, Davide.
Davide. Yeah, thank you, man.
Just a second.
Yep.
Vediamo se riesco a non uscire fuori.
Oh,
I think left a bit, but well, he'll come back as soon as possible.
all right.
Jokes aside, Ray, thank you so much, because I think that among among all the possible issues and troubles of the release of a movie and what happened afterwards, all the when after so many people win, how do they react to the victory and to what comes afterwards? I think that you were like the epitome, the paragon of how to be positive online, how to be the best someone could be, especially someone that was in the movie.
Mille grazie. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. All right, check my pronunciation on this, all right? Nel mezzo del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura. Che la dritta via era smarrita. Smarrita or is
Smarrita.
So del cammin di nostra vita mi ritrovai per una selva oscura. Che la dritta via era smarrita.
like that?
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I have no idea.
Wow.
This might be an Italian. This might be Italian for like, something terrible. And I have no idea what I just read.
It's like in.
Let me see if I can figure it out from my.
It's a paraphrase.
Latin in high school. The middle.
Yeah.
Del cammin di nostra vita. Nostra, our knowledge.
Our life.
Our life.
Nostra, our vita, life.
Yeah, exactly.
In
the middle of our life, the first verse.
In the middle of our life. Mi ritrovai per una selva oscura. So I am an obscure self. Myself is obscured. Identity.
Ritrovai means I found myself.
Yeah.
I found myself. Per una selva oscura.
Selva oscura. Yeah. Selva is like in dark woods.
Selva, woods. Sorry, guys. I was going self.
Don't worry. It's
woods.
hard for Italians as well.
Yeah.
C'è la diritta. I don't know diritta.
Straight.
Okay.
Straight,
all right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This is great.
Right,
people are going to tune in and be like, oh, look, they're teaching him Italian.
Italian lessons with dark side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn to speak Italian with dark side.
Beautiful.
Hysterical. Yeah.
Your pronunciation was amazing. And
yeah.
Thanks.
Even the dark side pronunciation was, incredible. It's.
Thanks.
I really can't imagine having someone as positive, as good as you. As dark side for the the Snyderverse, for the Zack Snyder's Justice League saga. You absolutely, Zack is always spot on with the castings, and you were no exception.
I'm just grateful that he put his trust in me to play it. I'm grateful that he saw that, and I'm grateful that people welcomed me in the way that they did, because nobody knew who the hell I was. It's literally, the entire journey has been one of gratitude for me. To everyone for it. And so, I mean, it's not like I'm some sort of Zen master or guru or whatever, but it's very easy to be kind in those situations because it's just better, and the kindness that's been shown to me consistently through this experience, I want to return that. I want to, give that back. So it's a gift. And I'm very grateful to be able to come on to your show and to be taught Italian. You know, it's a wonderful thing. So
I think I speak for on behalf of all of us, and we're grateful for your art and for your
well, I'm grateful for your art, man. Your drawings are very funny. I want that to be a coffee label. I want that to be. I'm seeing like a kind of an off-white bag of ground coffee with that illustration on it. You know, people will be like, "Have you gotten the Dark Side Dark Roast?" No, what's that? It's Italian. Is it Lavazza? No. Yeah.
We have the spot. We have the advertising spot.
We have the advertising spot right there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will grind these beans to dust.
Yeah. Never mind the art, never mind the writing, never mind editing. You guys need to open a coffee shop. That's it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That's what Italy needs, is another coffee shop, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mamma mia.
Guys, do you have anything else to ask Ray?
But a little question.
Sir.
Which is the difference between an audiobook script and a movie script? There is a difference.
Sure. The audiobook script is just the book. It's just the book. You know, so like a screenplay, the way the format is on a screen, you guys have read screenplays, yes? Screenplays. That's a very specific, strict sort of formatting, because there's a lot of people relying on that information. Set designers, you know, and showrunners, and I mean, everybody, costumers, everybody. The book, when I narrate a book, it's just the book, you know? So it's like, they'd be the same as what you've got in your hand at home. I'm just sitting here with it on my iPad, reading it into this mic. So that's really the big difference.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And plus, there tends to be more than one person in a movie, whereas in an audiobook, more often than not, it's just one dude trying to do all the voices.
Do you write notes on the sides of a book, like to?
I used to. There are a lot of audiobook narrators who do a ton of prep work like that, where they will notate every character and have it, you know, and that's what helps them get there. For me, I found that if I did that, it would ultimately dry out my read of the book. And so I wanted it to be kind of more vibrant and more fresh and more sort of immediate. So I tend to very, very lightly go over the book just to get any information I might need about certain characters or where it is, you know, that kind of thing. And then I leave it alone. And so the first time, in many cases, the first time I'm reading, you know, this section is when it's being recorded, because just for me, I found that immediacy serves to tell the story better. There are other narrators who do it completely differently, and they're able to tell the story incredibly well too. It's however you get there. I don't think there's a rule per se. And anybody who tells you there is selling something. So, you know, there's no, I mean, you know, as an artist, you know, I mean, you know, as a writer, somebody's going to tell you this is what you're supposed to do. You can take hints. There are certain things, you know, in any creative endeavor, you look at people who've done it, and you find out what works for you, but that's it ultimately, is what works for you to help you bring your art, whatever it is, your form to the world. So way I do it's a lot more casual, no notes, nothing like that.
Okay.
Well, Ray, if you guys don't have any more questions,
nice
Ray,
hanging out with you guys. Thank you for staying up so late.
Yeah, don't worry, it was a pleasure. You're fantastic. You're an incredible person, and
thank you, my friend. Thank you.
You know, you're also dark side, and that's also, you know, another layer to your awesomeness.
Thank you very much,
Ray.
Very nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
And you know, if I find myself in Italy, let's sit down, break bread.
Yeah,
we'd love to.
Okay,
thank you
good.
so much.
It's a deal.
Yeah.
All right, have a good night, gentlemen.
Have a good
Have
day.
a good day, Ray. Thank you
Grazie.
so
Thank
much.
you.
Grazie.
Ciao.
Grazie a te.
Ciao.
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 Ciao.